I'm Nicole with As Seen on Screen. Ben, it is such a pleasure to meet you today. Thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me.
It's
and
great.
Congratulations
It's a real pleasure.
on this film. I had such a great time watching it.
Thank you. Thanks for watching.
I wanted to jump in by talking about world building because I feel like all of the settings in this film are characters of their own, whether we're looking at the tree, the various lands, or the Thompsons' farm. What did you want audiences to feel, the feelings they evoke through the settings that we see, and how it brings us as audience members into this world through the settings in this film?
Well, I wanted the various different worlds of the Magic Faraway Tree to be varied but also consistent. So I had this idea about Blytopia, which is like Enid Blyton utopia. So it's like, what is that? It's sort of wholesome, it involves cake, it involves food, and it involves kind of family stuff. But also, it's this crazy, idealized, full-on worlds, these utopia that float above. But if you're stuck in them for too long, they become dangerous. So everything does it fit? We did have little rules, like we had no plastic. There's not one plastic item, being filmed. Everything was salvaged that they found in the barn, and they're kind of like the tone of how they made their home is all like this real stuff. And then up in the lands, we wanted it to be tactile. The Land of Goodies, they could eat the set. The kids could eat the set. It was fun for them, and everything was delicious. And birthdays, we blew snow with big snow machines, and it was very experiential for the kids, and you can see that in your eyes.
I would definitely want to visit the Land of Goodies then. If everything there was real, that's where you'd find me all day.
I actually didn't eat a single sweet. I was, more like thinking I want some salami, things that were salty, because we lived a lot of that sweet stuff. Yeah.
Now, in another interview you did earlier in the year, I learned that you opened your own VFX company just for this film to do that with you and your team. What was that learning experience feel like as a filmmaker, kind of seeing more of that post-production side and getting really involved in all of it?
Well, I actually don't like the words post-production because it implies that something's finished and then you're doing something afterwards. It's filmmaking, right? VFX is amazing, and the more you embrace it and bring it in to the center of what you're doing, the better it will be. And the less you'll be able to tell what is VFX and what is real. And, we had this consistent look, and we used a kind of stop motion workflow where in stop motion, the effects and the practicality, they're done very early on, both side by side. Whereas normally in live action, you don't bring the VFX until the end. Whereas we did it from the beginning. And so we did do it ourselves, mostly because we was too ambitious. We had 800 shots and not a lot of money, so we built our own company, which basically was an abandoned building above a subway station, and loads of old salvaged computers that got really hot, and then we got loads of cheap salvaged fans to blow on them, and it was crazy what it looked like. It looked like some kind of dark web, crypto farm, and it was just so insane, but it was making shot by shot, frame by frame. Sometimes we would get one frame a day of a really complicated shot, and it would just make, we were creating this. It was like this beautiful garden of images, and that we were in control of. And the artists were playing with us, and I wrote the VFX guys a song called VFX Review. It was like a thrash metal song, and we'd play it, and they were just couldn't believe that they were so involved in the process, and so they started doing more and more amazing work.
Wow. Is there a certain effect you remember seeing it with the artist doing then? Now you see it on screen, you're like, I can't believe that turned out looking like that. A favorite?
Yeah, a lot of them. I like the lights as the tree that come out of the tree. We had this guy, the particle guy, and he has done a lot with Chris Nolan actually, and he's like the one guy for particles, and they have a weight and a life. They were like organisms. It made me think of the abyss. They're sort of like plankton, floating plankton. They're not just lights, and they have a weight to them. And I was like, how is he doing that? And it's all maths. It's all maths. It's brilliant.
Wow. Yeah, when I was watching the film, just all those effects and just how the film looks, it just brings you right into the story. You feel so immersed with the kids, with the Thompsons.
Well, I think that you've got this amazing opportunity to do a spectacular film with the Magic Faraway Tree, and if you don't, then you really have dropped the ball. So we went hard. And, it's a theatrical movie. It's big screen, massive sound, Dolby Atmos, laser projection, huge, wallop, all right? So it's like this kind of, this nostalgic vibe of the films that we love, like Chitty Chitty Bang Bang stuff, all those things, but with very cutting edge technique, so that the experience is just so vivid and colorful, I wanted to kind of make the kind of movie that if you have flu or if you've been dumped, you just want to see the Magic Faraway Tree just to laugh and cry and just forget about the world.
Good feel-good story.
Exactly, exactly. And moving too, and it does make people cry because of the connections that you're seeing happen.
Yeah. Actually, speaking of that, there was a moment in the film where Moonface thinks the kids are growing up too fast and he's worried they're going to forget. And it instantly unlocked a memory for
Hang on
me.
a second, what are you doing
There
about?
was a book that when I was a kid, Puff the Magic Dragon,
yeah.
which is a similar
Was a film, yeah,
storyline in a way,
originally, yeah.
but just I hadn't thought about this book in years. And when I was watching the film,
100%.
instantly unlocked that memory. And I think it speaks to a film's ability to, you know, not only get those creative juices going for yourself, but unlock those memories you may have forgotten you had.
100%.
Through production for you, or even now when you watch the film, are there stories from your own childhood that were evoking
that's a
for
good
you that you were
question.
thinking of?
I think there's a poignancy and a tragedy to growing up that's really prevalent in literature. Oscar Wilde was amazing in The Canterville Ghost, okay, which is a very funny story, which they based, which then became like a franchise with Keaton. So it's like the Little Prince, you know, on the moon. That kind of like it's this sort of like desolation of loneliness, of the fact that we are growing, that time is finite and it's sad and these moments are passing. You know, it's such a beautiful, beautiful idea. And so yeah, Puff the Magic Dragon, all of these things, I could go on and on. It's a real thing to tap into because it's really moving. And you know, we have a limited time with our own children. We have a limited time as children, but we still want to take that too seriously, right? You don't want to be too worthy and have too high expectations. You want to just be playing and letting moments happen, and that's kind of what the family of the Magic Faraway Tree end up doing, you know, with spectacular results.
Yeah, absolutely. The last thing I wanted to talk to you about before I have to wrap up here, I loved the dream binder that the Thompsons have in the film. If you were to have had your own dream binder going into production for this film, what would have been in there for you that you were most excited to tackle for the film or bring to life on screen?
I think that when I started doing theatre and sharing emotions and feelings and lines with audiences, I suddenly realized how precious pretend is, and what an amazing thing that is. And I never wanted to not have something with pretending, and I think it would be something about that. Play and pretend would have somehow featured there, and I think it's such a privilege to have such a big canvas to just play and pretend, and then be traveling all around the world sharing that story with people and them loving the Magic Faraway Tree. It's just an amazing moment.
Yeah.
That would have definitely been the dream binder, yeah. People are sitting in cinema with this.
I love too in the film that there are just so many aspects of that, like from artwork to magic to goodies, like all those things that make your childhood, all those good memories are all in this movie, and I think so many people are going to have so much joy watching this movie.
I hope they do. I hope they come, and I hope they come with their families. Or you don't need kids to see it. You know, it's just fun. And moving and lovely. So I really hope people come, and yeah, fingers crossed.
Absolutely. Well, Ben, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you. It's nice. I love the book. It's a good idea. Yeah.
Thank you, and congratulations again on the film.
Thank you so much.